Hello everyone, my name is Garrett Jackson and I will be going over the Chapter 5 closing case for my presentation. More specifically, my scope will be questions 2 through 4, and this is for BA 668 Spring 2020 semester. Here is a little background on the Chapter 5 closing case. If you'd like to pause it and read it, feel free. I'm also going to talk through it just a little bit. So the title is Financing East Coast Yachts and Expansion Plans with a Bond Issue. So after Dan's EFN analysis for East Coast Yachts, Larissa has decided to expand the company's operations. She has asked Dan to enlist an underwriter to help sell $45 million in new 30-year bonds to finance new construction. Dan has entered into discussions with Renata Harper, an underwriter from the firm of Crowe and Mallard, about which bond features East Coast Yachts should consider and also what coupon rate the issue will likely have. Although Dan is aware of bond features, he is uncertain as to the costs and benefits of some of them, so he isn't sure on how each feature would affect the coupon rate of the issue. So taking that information, East Coast Yachts needs to raise money for their company to be able to better serve their consumers. So now they're looking into the difference between coupon and zero coupon bonds and what will be the most effective for the company. Here is some additional information for the case. Feel free to pause and read if you'd like. I'll also read through it for you. Dan is also considering whether to issue coupon-bearing bonds or zero coupon bonds. The yield to maturity on either bond issue will be 5.5%. The coupon bond would have a 5.5% coupon rate. The company's tax rate is 35%. So this is the information that we will be using to determine the price of the bonds, how many bonds the company will have to issue, and also how much money will be due upon the maturity of the bonds. The first question we're going to answer specifically is question 2. How many of the coupon bonds must East Coast Yachts issue to raise the $45 million? And the second part of the question is, how many of the zero coupon bonds must it issue? So to answer the first half of this question, of how many coupon bonds it will take, I used the TVM solver for my calculator. And to do this, I entered the 30 years from the previous information of how many years the bonds would be active. So our N is 30. The I is 5.5%, which was the going rate, which was also given in previous information. Present value we're leaving blank because that's what we're solving for. We're hoping to find the present value or the price that they will sell the bonds for. The payment will be 55. That's from the 5.5% coupon rate. That is equal to $55 paid out annually. Lastly, our future value equals $1,000. The payment and future value are both negative because East Coast Yachts will be paying that out to their investors. And that should make our present value positive because that's how much money they will be receiving from their investors. And so we actually get an answer of $1,000 for the price of the bond, which makes it a par value bond. This is actually because the interest rate and the coupon rate are the same amount. 5.5% leads to a present value of $1,000 or a par value bond. And so to find out how many bonds it takes to raise the $45 million, we have to take that $45 million and divide it by the price of one of the bonds, which is 1,000. So 45 million divided by 1,000 gives you 45,000 bonds. So in order for East Coast Yachts to raise $45 million, they'd have to sell 45,000 par value coupon bonds. So for the second half of the question, we have to figure out how many of the zero coupon bonds that East Coast Yachts must issue. So this is the same setup as the previous with the TVM solver from the calculator. N is still 30 because the years of the bond are still equal to 30. The I is still 5.5% because that's still the market rate. Present value, again, that's what we're solving for, so that will be left blank. The payment will actually enter as 0 now. Zero coupon bonds do not pay any interest over the life of the bonds, and so there will be $0 paid out. And then lastly, the future value is still negative 1,000 because that is what the company will pay out at the maturity of the bond. So once you put all those values in and solve for the present value, you get a present value or price of the bond of $200.64. So now to figure out how many bonds they must issue to raise $45 million, you take the $45 million number, you divide it by the price of one bond, which is $200.64, and you actually get 224,282.3 bonds. Since a company is not able to sell a third of a bond, they can't sell 0.3 of a bond. To actually reach that 45 million mark, you have to round up and sell one more. So that is why the answer is 224,283 bonds. If they sell even one less than that, they will not reach the $45 million mark. The next question that we're going to answer is question number 3. This question asks, in 30 years, what will be the principal repayment due if East Coast Yachts issues the coupon bonds? And also, what will it be if it issues the zero coupon bonds? So to figure this out, we must take the amount of bonds that we took from the previous slide and then multiply it by the amount of principal that will be repaid. So for the coupon bonds, they had to sell 45,000 bonds to reach the amount of capital that they wish to raise. And so the 45,000 bonds would all have to be paid $1,000 in principal repayment at maturity. So that 45,000 bonds times $1,000 equals $45 million. So for the coupon bonds, the principal repayment will be $45 million at the end of 30 years. For the zero coupon bonds, there are 224,283 bonds, and the amount paid at the future value is still the same, $1,000. So when you multiply those two numbers together, you get $224,283,000. And so because there is a much higher number of bonds outstanding, there's a much higher number of dollars that must be paid back at maturity. The last question we will be answering for this case is question number 4, and it reads, what are the company's considerations in issuing a coupon bond compared to a zero coupon bond? So some of the main considerations that I think East Coast Yachts should have are the total principal repayment, the coupon payments, the tax implications, and the sinking funds that would be involved. And so to put all of these factors together, the total principal repayment has a great disparity between the two bonds. The first would be that the coupon bonds would be a lot less on principal repayment. $45 million is tremendously lower than $240 million. However, the coupon payments associated with the coupon bonds would increase the amount that they are paying. So with a calculation of $55 to 45,000 bonds a year, that is about $2.5 million additionally that they would have to pay. So the $45 million is a lot less on principal repayment, but you have to take into consideration the $2.5 million that the company will have to pay out annually as well. The zero coupon bond has a much higher principal repayment, but they do not have to worry about paying additional interest throughout the years leading up to that point. Next is the tax implications. Since the coupon bonds do issue coupons and interest each year, they have a higher tax deductibility for the company. There is still interest deductions that can be taken for East Coast Yachts on a zero coupon bond. However, it is much lower than what the coupon bond would provide them. So if the company would like greater tax benefits, then they should probably lean towards the coupon bonds. Lastly, if a sinking fund is involved, that is something that the company should take into consideration between the two bonds. The sinking fund, or the money that will have to be placed back to make sure the company is able to pay off the principal at maturity, would be much higher for the zero coupon bond. With a $200 million repayment, they would have to have a much higher amount in the sinking fund to make sure they could pay that off. With the $45 million repayment, it would take a lot less money in a sinking fund. So with that, there is more money available for the company. With the higher amount, the sinking fund would really take up some capital for the company. It would be a lot of money that they would invest that they would just have to hold on and wait that they could not use in different ways. So with all of those in mind, I think I would lean towards East Coast Yachts issuing a coupon bond compared to a zero coupon bond. However, that is just my choice based on these factors and considerations. Ultimately, it's up to the ownership to make the decision of what coupon they should issue, zero coupon or par value coupon bond for the company. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to my case. I hope this is able to help explain to you some of the differences between coupon and zero coupon bonds.